From a young age, I was attracted to the lifestyle, the streets. I grew up around it. Everyone I knew promoted the lifestyle. That's when I started smoking and drinking, and gradually as I grew older, through my teenage years and the early adulthood, my action just became worse. So then I started falling into what I was being taught. Like get them before they get you. I'd rather die with it than without it. You're a product of your environment. And I started to believe these things, and I started to hurt more people because I didn't want to keep becoming a victim. Me and my friends were into it with some other people. I seen one of the guys that same night and got into a fist fight with him. And then after that, I went searching for him. I went and got a pistol and went searching for him. And in the midst of doing that, I stopped at the gas station, and I ended up getting into it with another man, and we exchanged words, and I pistol whipped him. So he tried to grab me from behind when I was walking away, and my friend punched him off me, and I turned around and I shot him. I shot him in the hip. He had to get hip replacement, but he's still alive. I knew that I was going to prison. There wasn't no way around that. I felt like an idiot. First and foremost, the man was innocent. He didn't deserve it. I can try to rationalize it. I used to try to do that, but he was innocent. I didn't have no business bringing any harm to that man's life. I got sentenced to 100 months in prison. It was kind of humbling to be sitting in the county in a sober mind frame. I'm not inebriated in any way, high, drunk, and I'm sitting there, and now I have time to reflect on everything that I had just did from the last 8 years I was just out on the streets, from the time I stepped off to the porch until the time I got incarcerated. And to be overwhelmed with the feeling of guilt. From the beginning, I knew that something had to change. It's crazy, like everyone thought I would be like overwhelmed when I got sentenced to the 100 months, but honestly, I was kind of at peace. And it's because I knew I needed it. It saved my life. The way I was living, I was bound to end up dead. And I was kind of living to die. My uncle was murdered when he was 19. I felt like it was kind of predestined. And instead incarceration came. I was going to church on and off in prison, and I would read the Bible, but I wasn't head first in it. It was kind of like just reading it for knowledge. I wanted to know what it was like to be more spiritual because I started working out heavy. I'm a runner. I got a college education now. Mentally, I was doing everything to keep myself sharp, but I didn't know what it meant to be spiritual. I went down to religious services, but I ran into some guys. It's a program called Addicts at the Cross. So they invited me open arms. And, that's how it started. One of my elders' name was Gary Bolin. He's a man doing a life sentence for a murder. And he's okay with where he's at in life right now because he understands that this is where he's needed. Because he does. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at in my faith. One thing he always told me is GMC, God makes coincidences. Because when I first met him, I would always talk about how I felt it was a coincidence that certain things happened in my life. He's like, that's not a coincidence. God made that happen. It happened for a reason. The last day I spent in prison was Christmas. That's not a coincidence. The 26th, they came and got me, and I was back in the halfway house. I've been working a full-time job ever since. I was only in the halfway house living there until midway through February. They put me on ankle monitor. I was allowed to go to church. That's how I came to CedarCreek for the first time. And from the beginning, I was never shunned away. I was showed love. Obviously, you can tell by my appearance, it's something underneath the surface, but knowing pride. They let me come in and enjoy the service, and that was okay. They shook my hand and looked me in my eyes like they would do anyone else. That's what kept me coming back to CedarCreek. I'm a group leader for middle school and high school. Not only do I serve at CedarCreek, I coach a basketball team at the Belief Center in South Toledo. And being able to interact, with these kids and really be able to build these relationships with them, because I know that at the age that they're at now, that's when I started my downfall, because I was being misled. I was getting rejected. The streets embraced me. The kids are going through the same thing. They're being misled. So being blessed with the opportunity to be a consistent presence in their life, to teach them something bigger than Toledo, Ohio, something bigger than themselves, which is Christ, is powerful. Today, I had 3 of my kids that I coach come up to me and ask me if they could be baptized. A lot of people reject God. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't grow up in a church. I knew he was real. I believed in Jesus my whole life. I knew it was a reason why a man pulled a gun out on me 8-10 feet away from me in that gun jam. That's God. I knew it was a reason why I got beat with baseball bats and flatlined twice. That's God. I knew it's a reason why I shot that man and I didn't hit his main artery, but I was this close away from it. That's God. It took a long time for me to come to the cross, but I had to develop that understanding and embrace him. I'll never reject God again. I'll never reject Christ, because without them, I can't face my demons that I battle on a day-to-day basis. This is for everyone who's incarcerated in TCI. Stay focused. Embrace the love that Christ has for you. Stay strong. Understand that whatever you're going through today, whatever struggles you're faced with, whatever your out day may be, it's going to be okay. Keep your faith strong. Utilize your time to become a better man that your family needs you to be. We love you.